know how sometimes you experience something shameful or embarrassing, so shameful or embarrassing that it stays with you day after day. Like each morning you wake up, you just relive it, and the cringe is so hard. Like you're like, fuck, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Well, I got a quick story for you. So a couple of weeks ago, I was down in Florida, and at my home in Kansas, I have security cameras all over the place. I'm super paranoid. And the notification went off on my phone, and I picked it up, and what I see is a ladder propped up against my home. Now, bear in mind, I didn't have anybody scheduled to come over. I just have a friend who comes over to like water my plants and stuff like that. There's a ladder propped up, and there's a dude in a hoodie climbing off, and there is a black, it's seam tinted SUV parked up front. It's not a work truck, nothing. And so what I see from my perspective on the camera is this dude climbing off, and then he goes back to his car, comes out with something. I can't see it clearly because the video is pixelated, goes to my front door and starts trying to go in. I'm like, wait. Where did this dude get access? Where did he get a key to get into my front door? So I turn on the speaker that's attached to my security camera, and I tell him to back up. I'm like, back up, man. What's going on? And the guy backs up. I'm like, look at the camera. Basically, I yell at this dude. I basically treat him like a criminal because from my perspective, this is a dude that's not in a work truck. He's not dressed like a person who works. And I don't remember making any requests to anyone to come to my house to fix something. He's coming off a ladder, and he's trying to get into my home, and I didn't give him a key to the home. So it's all looking very sketchy. So I yell at him through the camera speaker, just lighting his ass up. Like, what are you doing? What do you want? And there's the time it takes for my voice to get through the camera via the app to this guy versus his response. We're talking over each other. Well, long story short, it turns out that he's a new maintenance contractor for the property management company that works with my home. And my girl had actually put in a work order to fix an outside light, which explains the ladder, and to fix the microwave lights. And in the city I live in, there's been a shortage of maintenance workers. So she put this work order in weeks ago, I think sometime early November. And this guy in the holidays was finally finding time to come around and take care of those work orders. And this guy was basically doing his job. And I just treated him like a complete criminal. Now, despite the context, despite the fact that he was, what I saw through the camera was a guy who was in a hoodie, not in a regular work truck. And despite the fact that I was paranoid about this and reacted due to what I perceived, guys, I felt like shit. Because not only was I very rude to this man, but I'm also in real estate, so I negotiate property deals in the area. And as any real estate investor knows, finding a reliable maintenance professional is not easy, especially one that you can trust, who can come around and fix stuff. And I live in a small world, in the real estate world in the area where I live in, so people remember stuff like this. And I'm a guy who stands out. So I risked my reputation by being an asshole to another human being who was just doing his job. As far as I'm concerned, regardless of the context, I owed this guy an apology because right after I yelled at him, he explained himself to me. But I was so caught up in my paranoia that I was not hearing him. Or rather, I was hearing him, but I wasn't listening. Because he said, I'm here to fix the lights. And I'm like, bro, I did not have anybody come over to fix the light. And he was like, well, I fixed it already. Can I at least go inside and turn it on? So I was like, dude, I didn't even give you a key. Who are you? So I had this very, aggressive behavior towards him. And I felt even worse when my girl was like, seriously, I made the work order. And yes, the guy was expected and so on and so forth. Because for many years, as some of you guys know, I was a door-to-door salesperson. I had been treated like that myself thousands of times. Like, I'd had people go like, "What's up, man? What you doing in front of my house?" "I don't know you. Selling books sounds like a scam to me." Like, I should be the last person that would treat somebody doing his job like that. So, needless to say, I experienced just a lot of shame. So the first thing I did when I realized was, we called the office to apologize, but he was out working, so I couldn't apologize over the phone. And so I told them to pass on the message. I made a mental note to apologize in person. But the thing is, when I woke up the next morning, I remembered. And then there was a part of me that just was so tempted to go through the scenario again. The shame, the cringe. And that's what this is about today. I didn't do that. It was very, very intense. Like, oh man, that was so shameful. You could have experienced it with anything. Maybe you were caught watching porn by somebody. Maybe a woman rejected you. Maybe you blurted out or said it. Most guys who drink, you said something during the holidays while you were drunk that was just absolutely inappropriate. You texted the wrong person. So I felt that cringe. There's that temptation to just go through and relive it. But it's so important. I stopped it immediately because this is what your evening routines and what your morning routines are for. They are designed within the program to clean the bullshit from the day before and mentally prepare you for a new day. One of the questions, and I won't go through the details because I've shared it in another podcast episode, that we ask ourselves at the end of the day is, did I go through the day treating others the way that I would want to be treated ultimately? And that's a question that I had to ask myself. See, your mind loves to take that which you have logically resolved, like you've already taken care of it. I already decided, gonna apologize to this gentleman in person. And then it wants to magnify it in an attempt to bring your self-image back down to where it feels you belong. You could have been doing very well, but just this one little thing can mess everything up. Literally, it can cause you to spiral. And not enough men admit this. Allowing a little thing like guilt from making the mistake the day before into a new day is a little chip in your mental armor. All it takes is a few more replays in your head, one or two misses in your day, like not a great day, you messed up here and there, and you're back to feeling full-blown shame, especially if you are a man who struggles with an out-of-control behavior with pornography. This is about protecting your mental state from falling into shame, which is something that you experience cyclically due to your slips and relapses. Maybe you're going through a dormant stage where you're just like, man, it's so good to not be going through a slip or relapse right now. It's so good to not be feeling guilt and shame. And you already know that the one thing that can bring up all that shame is you slipping and relapsing. But maybe you've forgotten that there are other things in life, like an embarrassing situation that has nothing to do with pornography, that can bring up that shameful feeling again. And guess what? When you're in a relapse, you're already in a cycle where you're medicating your shame and guilt by viewing more pornography and masturbating, which continues that cycle, which leads to you feeling shameful, and then you do it over and over again. And little situations like this can lead back to that. So, if you woke up today with yesterday's bullshit on your mind, I want you to forget it. Forget the angers and frustrations, the setbacks and all the aggravations. Forget your failures and misses. I mean it. Forget it. Your subconscious mind will take care of reminding you of the important ones when the time is right. Because in the moment when you get angry, when you get frustrated, when you experience a setback, when you're aggravated, you are going to use a coping strategy or a tool from the program to take care of it in the moment. That's all you need to do. You don't need to dwell on it. You don't need to write a fucking essay on it. You don't need to do any of those things. You just need to use the tool to deal with it right then and trust that your subconscious will take care of the rest. The past is a dream, and reliving its uncomfortable parts does nothing to help you today. So, I want you to resolve today to process any guilty emotions right there in the moment and then move on.